When I think of connection, I think of the relationships you have with others as well as yourself and your surroundings.
Welcome, everyone, to Gettin Down with the Collective. I'm Lamaiya Lancaster, co-founder and principal choreographer of L Theory Collective. We're a community-based dance performance group with a dedication to inclusion through equitable access to community engagement in the art of dance. Today, we're continuing with Connecting to Connections, a virtual dance concert. And joining me is Kristine Blitek. Hi, Kristine.
Hi!
So, Kristine was one of the artists that presented work in our virtual dance concert in December of 2020 called Connections, a Virtual Dance Concert. Before we get into it, though, Kristine, we got a couple of getting to know you questions. So, question number one, coffee or tea?
Oh, usually coffee first thing in the morning for sure. But if I've had too much coffee in the morning, I switch to tea until the evening.
And just piggybacking off of that, does the tea have caffeine in it?
Yeah, usually up until 5 p.m.
Yes, okay. So vacationing, the top of a snow-capped mountain or on the beach and in the ocean?
Um, do I have to choose? Could I have a mountain on the beach in the ocean? The mountains, no, mountains don't go in the ocean. I don't know.
Well, actually, in Hawaii, you can on Big Island. Yes, you can.
All right, I'm going there. And then I gotta drive to the forest or something. No, if I had to choose, I think because we have so much forest here and it's like, I don't know. I'd have to say the ocean is something I miss currently. So right now I'd have to say the ocean.
Yes, yes, me too. I'm right there with you. All right, so books or movies?
Mm, Probably a movie, just because I cannot remember the last time I really sat down and read like a book.
Yes, yeah. What's the last movie that you saw?
Last movie. Good question. I don't know. I think I've been doing lots of like documentaries. I
Mhm.
watched a documentary on soil, but the actual like an actual like movie, like a film, I can't recall. I don't watch too many movies. I tend to do more documentaries or story like like stories, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. No, that totally counts. It's one of the things we've been discussing with other people in the series as well. There's a lot of Netflix binging going on. So, yeah, I was definitely on a documentaries binge too at one point. So,
I like Ancient Aliens.
yes. Nice. Well, let's go on ahead and get into it. So, can you give us just something about your background, your dance history?
Yeah, I started when I was like 3 years old. I just happened to have a friend at the time who was in it as well, and my mom just thought it was something that maybe I'd like to try as well. Just throughout childhood, as you're trying lots of activities, dance was always a staple or one that I was enrolled in throughout the years. And then as I got older, you know, different things require more time of you, and I just kind of had to make the choice of where I wanted to spend my time the most, and dance is what I chose. And from that point on, throughout childhood into high school and adulthood, I would spend sometimes between 5 and 7 days a week at the dance studio. So,
Nice. And what kind of dance training did you have? What styles was your background in your training in?
primarily ballet. Ballet was something I did almost daily. And then sometimes twice a week or so, you would have a jazz or a modern or a lyrical class. But ballet was the focus for sure.
And I'll tell you all right now, Christine's being super modest. She's done something like 25 performances of the Nutcracker, I believe.
Yeah, many nutcrackers since like a young age. At one point we were doing like 10 nutcrackers a year every year. So lots of full length ballets, like not so much like the typical recital that you see. Sometimes it was more of like a ballet production, I guess, is something that we did more of.
Yes, yeah, definitely. So, can you tell us about the piece that you presented in Connections, a virtual dance concert? Give us a little description of the piece, maybe share about the music and the setting that you filmed in and what the editing process was like.
Yeah, so since I had my second daughter not too far after the concert, I didn't really have a lot of time to set like a full like choreography pattern or something like that. So I really just took about an hour or an hour and a half that I had by myself, and I was able to go to the woods and set up the camera and just try to think of anything that would come to me or anything I was inspired by just being out in nature. And I just kind of got as many clips as I could and put them together and purposely kind of chose a song that was like more like a calming, relaxing music that didn't really have like a heavy drive or beat. I just kind of wanted like a more peaceful like sound and look. And at that point, like it'd been a while since I had really moved for myself outside of just teaching or work. So it felt really good to get out and have a moment of like silence and freedom and peace to myself. And I hope that's somewhat conveyed through the piece because that's what I got out of it.
Great. Okay. So, how was the editing process for that? So you said you took the different video clips. Did you do the editing yourself, or or did you have
Yeah,
somebody else do
I
it?
did the editing through just like an iMovie on my iPhone. I could cut the clips and put them together how I wanted, and then just lay the song with it as well. So I think like I think I had maybe like 7 minutes worth of video. Sorry, my daughter's in her high chair right behind the camera. Um, out of like 7 minutes of footage, I think I ended up using like four and a half of it. So kept what was cool or what I thought was okay and kind of got rid of the rest. And yeah, it's the first time I've ever really done that. I've never had the opportunity to do that before. So it was a lot of fun and I thought it was cool.
So can you speak a little bit to what differences you find, other than the obvious, between doing a performance, in a live setting on a stage, it's the one shot and you're done, as opposed to creating something for a virtual dance concert where you are kind of putting these pieces together and videoing and being able to go in and edit and such. What do you think the differences are for you as the creator of the work?
Um, for me, I feel like there wasn't much of, I know for myself personally, like before I go on stage or before I perform, no matter how many times I've done it, I still kind of get like butterflies or nervous. Have that moment where I'm like, oh my God, like did I just forget all the choreography? But with being by myself and doing something like virtually, I didn't really have any of that. Because there's the idea of like, oh, I can just like delete it if I mess up. um, but I did like the option of having like a scenery or a background besides just like a stage and a backdrop. And I feel like that gives you more options visually besides maybe just like dance or choreography. You could add scenery in it as well for like a visual. So that's something that I enjoyed. And if I was to do it again, I'd maybe like play with that more a little bit.
Yeah, wonderful. Okay. So, what does the future hold for Kristine? What is it? You did mention that you're teaching. What is it that you're teaching? And, what does the next year of dance or life look like for you?
Yeah, so I'm currently teaching primarily ballet, a little bit of like contemporary modern, but ballet is still the main focus that I teach throughout the week on Mondays and Wednesdays. And in the future, that's just kind of what I. Oh, here's my other daughter. There she is. Okay, say hi. Yeah, I'm just plan on teaching and hopefully getting back into more classes for myself. It's been a long time since I've taken a class just for me. I can't really picture my life without dance at this point. I feel like I've been doing it for so long. It's definitely a part of like my identity and who I am. And I might not always be as involved in certain aspects of it, but I feel like it'll always be there in one way, shape, or form. So I'm grateful for it.
Wonderful. And one of the things that we had not mentioned is Kristine is actually one of the founding members of L Theory Collective. So she has been with us since the beginning back in 2013, I believe.
Yeah, yep.
Wait, no.
Yep. And some of those first dances where we were banging on the floor.
Yes.
Well, thank you, Kristine, for joining me today. And the girls. Wonderful. And thank you all for joining me for another episode of Gettin' Down with the Collective.